twat!
Very, very clever, Roderick Strong, but not clever enough, Sonshine.
Welcome to Discover Progress, the podcast that used to be about progress wrestling, but one of us is not quite clever enough, Sonshine. Who? Whom?
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 Oh, boy. All right, well, we're back.
We are.
Yeah, let's get the
After
the fun, important stuff out of the way wherever you're listening to this. You can, of course, find the podcast wherever you find podcasts. So if you're listening to it on YouTube, hey, you can also find it on Spotify and Apple and Google and all those things. Or if you're listening to it on Apple, you can also find it on Spotify and YouTube. I'm not going to go. You get the point. Wherever you're listening, make sure you subscribe, comment, tell your friends, review it, all that kind of stuff. And then once you've subscribed on one, go find it on another and subscribe there and subscribe in another one. And, and then when you're done all the subscribing, the subscriptions are all filled out. And then you even find it on things like all those other sites that just like collect podcasts from podcast providers. And then you subscribe there. Then you can go on to Instagram and follow Adam at Disc Progress, or you can go on to Twitter or both of it. Don't or. And you can go on to Twitter and follow myself at Disc Progress. Okay?
Yes. And then make another account and do it all over again.
Yeah. The only thing I'm sad about following the Adam Show on Instagram right now is lately all of the pictures have been ones that I've made.
Yes. I've been very lazy.
So lazy.
Taking screen caps of the shows that I've been watching.
Just start taking selfies of yourself watching wrestling. Watching wrestling
Hey,
again.
look, I'm Ivan. But what about Ivan?
What about him?
Nothing. Nothing.
Anyway, yeah. So once you've done all of that social networking stuff and you've subscribed everywhere,
you can now continue listening to the show.
Yeah, continue listening.
All right.
I did want to say, I felt like, I just want to put this out there because we've been, in the past, we have been guilty of this, of saying things like, oh, by the way, spoilers, and then immediately spoiling something.
Yeah.
If you have not watched the likes of each week, if you're starting to join us each week, if you've not watched the likes of NXT, NXT UK, to an extent AEW, and then sometimes other shows that we do talk about.
Yes. Specifically like Progress.
Yes, Progress, which, by the way, 96 is now up. So next week you will hear us talk about the latest chapter of Progress Wrestling. And then, yeah, so, those kind of shows, just a heads up, we will likely spoil some results. We're not a results-based show. We're not going through and, listing everything.
But we will talk about winners, losers, events.
If it's things we find important.
Tragedies.
Take that as you will. If you don't want things spoiled, make sure you stay caught up with all your shows.
Unless you want things spoiled, and you're coming to us for your weekly wrestling news, and then you'll be disappointed because we're not going to tell you everything.
We're not going to spoil every single match because sometimes it's just not worth it.
Because there's a lot of matches.
There's a lot of matches. Yeah. So speaking of, I did not allow you to do it. You said you had a question last week.
No, I didn't. Oh, I did.
You did, and then I didn't let you get to it because you never mentioned before.
I forgot to mention it.
So this week, we've got not one, but two Adam's questions of the day.
I wonder if they can even hear that.
You banging on the...
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't need to bang on it, though.
I know, but I feel like I have to.
It just comes through as like...
I guess, yeah.
You just distorted it. Okay. Ask away, good sir.
So, Killian Dane was on NXT this week, and I was like, former member of
Sanity,
yes. Another former member of Sanity,
also on NXT this
also
week.
on NXT.
And
Sawyer Fulton, no longer on NXT.
Right.
He's on Impact, and he's in part of a group with another former NXT, Sami Callihan.
Yes.
They, along with the Sist brothers, formed the faction called Ohio versus Everything.
Okay.
Are they all in fact from Ohio?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I went.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know. I'm pretty sure. You said Sist brothers. It's Christ brothers.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Jake and Dave Christ.
John and David.
John.
Anyways,
it's Christ.
Is it?
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm pretty sure Sammy is from Ohio. I'm pretty sure they are as well. I don't know about Sawyer Fulton, so I'm going to say...
Jake Christ. How did I do that?
Yeah, so you double...
John Sist and David Sist Jr.
Wow,
I'm really bad. Even when I'm writing stuff down.
Even when you're right, you're wrong. Because you're never right.
Never right, yes.
So now I don't know if I should trust whatever you say here. I'm going to say, I'm just going to go out and say, no, they are not all from Ohio.
Well, you, sir, would be wrong.
Yeah, okay, so Sawyer is from Ohio.
He is. He's from Toledo. I'm
not surprised necessarily, but just wanted to throw it
because I was like, they're part of this. I wonder if they're all from Ohio.
Which yes. I suppose, I mean, I guess with Sanity, when Sawyer was originally in Sanity, which was supposed to be led by Sami Callihan.
Yes.
Yeah. But when he was, I guess it would have been fine. He would have been American because everyone was from a different country.
Yes.
Right? I was thinking about them because of the fact that Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane were both on NXT this week.
Yeah.
Alexander Wolf was also on NXT UK.
Yes.
They're really well-traveled.
Masters of teleportation.
Yeah. But I was like, man, it's really what is Eric Young doing these days?
Counting to 10.
Okay, what's your second question?
All right. So I literally watched it
yes.
I finished watching NXT.
And I was here when
came here.
I was standing next to you when you prepped this. I didn't realize you were prepping a question, so I know what the question is. But.
You know what the question is, and we were talking, and I was just like, it's a lot of matches.
Yeah.
And you responded with, it's a lot of matches.
A lot of matches.
So I went and counted. How many matches were on the show?
Oh, man. Oh, it's going to be a boring podcast if I literally sit here and try. Okay, so it's going to be boring. Tommaso, we had Imperium against 1-2. Okay, stop that.
I want to get content strike.
What happened after that? We also, we had Killian, we had Boa, we had Io was on the show, Tegan was on the show. We had obviously Keith and Dominic. We had Pete and I was going to say Punishment. we had Pete and
technically correct.
Yes, technically correct. Pete and now I'm forgetting his name.
Damien
Priest. Damien Priest. What else did we have on the show, or was that it? That seems low for number of matches that I feel like we had, but because there was no Cameron Grimes. I've drawn a blank at 7, but I'm going to say 8.
Ding, 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 ding.
What was the match I missed?
Ciampa versus Garza.
Yeah.
1-2 versus Imperium.
Yeah.
Io versus Caden.
Yeah.
Keith versus Dijakovic.
Yeah.
Riddle versus Reed.
Oh, Riddle. Yeah,
Conti versus Tegan.
Oh. Yeah. Conti.
Boa versus Dane and Dunn versus...
Okay, so I can't believe I forgot Matt Riddle. Who did he fight?
Bronson Reed. It was actually a good match, too.
Yeah, it was all right.
It was all right. It was probably the best of some of the squash matches.
Yeah.
Squashes.
So let's... Okay.
Over 50% of these matches were very short.
Boy, do I have issues this week. Issues with NXT this week.
You must be a comic book.
Yeah.
Because you have issues.
Oh, I see. I thought it was because I was making noises.
No.
Thwap.
Thwip.
Thwip. So the issue... Okay. So first and foremost, I'm going to say... to this point, with the two shows going head-to-head, and, I don't want to be a head-to-head discussion show, but
yes.
We're still early. I've been watching all of it.
Yeah.
NXT has hands down won the main event quality in my mind. This week on AEW, I think it was so weird because interesting choice by NXT to put, you knew you had the AEW championship in the main event.
Yeah. Chris
Jericho versus Darby Allin, which ended up being an insane match. Like Chris Jericho was, I don't know if he tweeted it as well, but on Instagram for sure, he shared a video of Darby Allin doing a lion salt with his hands taped behind his back, and Jericho's comment was, "I've literally never seen anything like this before." And Darby Allin is reason enough to watch AEW.
Yes,
like that guy is insane. He's a breath of fresh air. Chris Jericho is great.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho does great mic work, great in-ring work. He's a fantastic heel. But Darby Allin, for me, right now on that show, while he lost the title match,
he is the show.
He is for sure the reason to watch. And, considering, the week before he was in a dark match, and then he had, his match with Jimmy Havoc last week for the number one contender, which is funny because, and I guess Pac made the point of this, last week is like they're all being like, wins and losses matter. And then you had Pac, who was undefeated.
Yes.
Not in the number one contenders match, but here you had Darby Allin and Jimmy Havoc, who weren't undefeated either.
Spoilers. Pac is now not undefeated.
Yes. Spoilers. Thanks, Moxley. John
I assume
Moxley.
Pac didn't take the pin.
Pac did take
the
pin.
Right there, because Moxley
ditched him.
Yeah.
He hit him with the what is
Paradigm
it called now?
Shift?
Paradigm Shift.
And then left.
It's back to looking like the crappy dirty deeds he did before.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, I liked, because I feel like the week before he literally elevated. No, it wasn't elevated,
well,
but he lifted him
up.
up.
Yeah.
It was like a double underhook glorious DDT by Bobby Roode. But
or a double underhook execution.
Sure, that's going to a time when I didn't watch. Anyway, this week, for sure, I will say AEW's main event was
way better.
Way better.
I haven't even seen it, and I know it's better.
At the same point, I really felt NXT did a great job of making an entertaining main event out of a nothing main event.
Yes.
When that main event happened, I was like, why? Why is Pete Dunne versus Damian Priest the main event and Keith Lee versus Dominic Dijakovic not the main event?
You said it wrong.
Whatever. I don't think I did.
Dijakovic.
I don't know. I don't even know how it's said anymore.
I've screwed it up so many times.
But why was that not the main event?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the finish would have been great, too, if that was the main event. Roddy runs in, and then William Regal's like, it's a triple threat!
You think you're so smart, you dumb
and then
kid.
You can have them the classic, what? And then, that's credits, or like your little copyright thing and done. Again, but no, instead, they had Damian Priest and Pete Dunne be your main event, which...
It was a good match.
It turned out to be a really good match. I audibly reacted in excitement when Damian Priest hit the South of Heaven chokeslam because he hadn't done it yet. He kind of teased it in another match but didn't hit it, and then hits it here, and I'm like, yes, it wasn't his finisher.
No.
He is the best-looking Crossroads in wrestling right now, though.
Yeah.
Or whatever that move is actually called. I don't know if it's actually called the Crossroads. I don't know. But you could picture it. And it's the... Like, it looks so much more convincing than any other one that's anybody else is doing it right now. But yeah, I will give them kind of credit there. Is like they actually took a nothing main event and
made it good,
made it a very entertaining match.
But a lot of that has to do with the entertainers in the match as well.
Oh, obviously, but like the fact that they went head to head with a championship match.
Yeah,
and so far AEW has been good at making matches kind of feel important. This week, obviously, we had more tag tournament matches, so that automatically makes a match feel more important. So we had two? Yeah, we have SCU beating...
Best Friends.
Best Friends, and then we had Lucha Bros beating Jurassic Express minus the Jurassic part of the Express.
Yes, it was just Express. And
it was
it was a fast Express.
A boy and a boy. Yeah,
it was his boy.
Yeah, it was a great match in the sense that... you constantly had the underdog thing going, and what I've realized with AEW, and it must be when they do, because I noticed that they've done like the picture-in-picture for some commercials, and when you watch like the on-demand version on like TSN specifically here in Canada, they cut that out, but instead you just get like the full, like it just keeps going as if the show continues. They're like, we'll be right back after this commercials, whatever, and then it does like a short little, like a bit of an awkward cut where I don't know why it happens that way. They just jump to a different camera.
This is where you insert the
Feels
commercial.
a little bit jarring, yeah. But then like there's no like break. It just jumps to it. Feels a little jarring, but the commentary continues and the match continues. And then, so I'm like, oh, that was quick. It's weird. They're still doing the same thing that they went to commercials with. That's weird. And then all of a sudden, it like cuts to like a wide camera. That's kind of doing the sweep around. And they're like, all right, we're back. Blah blah blah. This is what's happening. I'm like, wait, what? That was all during the commercial break, but the commentary continues. And so during that match, the Lucha Bros against Jungle Express, or Jungle Express, that's more accurate in this instance, but Jurassic Express.
Yeah.
They had this whole thing where like Penta would let Marco Stunt get up and he just boom, like kick his legs out. Get up, kick his, like they just weren't taking him seriously, right? And then Jungle Boy over on the other side finally climbs up to the anchorage. What? The apron.
Alaska?
Yeah. The apron. Yeah, didn't you know they weren't in Boston, they were or in Philadelphia, they were in Anchorage, Alaska. Ray Phoenix runs around and just like wipes his legs out so Jungle Boy falls again. Like they were just toying with him during the commercial break.
That's
it was kind of funny to watch, but it was this weird thing because then during the Moxley Pac versus Hangman and Omega match, I was like, why are they just standing around in the ring? Like, what is happening? And then all of a sudden Moxley grabs the mic and he was like threatening Justin Roberts. He grabs the mic. He's like, we're in a commercial break right now, but we're here to fight. But I was like, oh, this is what's happening. This is like where a commercial would be, and we were just continuing. It must be the picture-in-picture sort of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, AEW has done a great job thus far of making matches feel a little more important and a little bigger. That is also kind of the problem I said with it. If they continue at that rate, is it really either their pay-per-views are going to be absolutely insane and exhausting,
or boring,
or will it just be
the
worth
same
it?
old?
Yeah, will it be worth it in the sense that it's like, well, this is basically what you're getting on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
Right? But this week, I did think that AEW was a better flowing show. Mm-hmm. NXT had some good matches, but a lot of them were more like enhancement level matches. I mean, you had obviously Keith and Dominic in a great match that you're like, okay, who's going to win this? And then they upped the stakes with that by making it for a number one contendership for the North American title. And then you obviously had your main event, which had no stakes, but it ended up being a great match because you didn't know who was going to win.
No.
And in the end, Damian Priest wins.
I feel the correct choice because Dunn doesn't need the win.
No, he doesn't need the win. And I thought, and the way it went, like Dunn still looks good. Like it ended with a bit of a very vicious dick kick.
Yeah.
Which then he hit
bullseye.
The bullseye. As Morrow kept saying, oh my goodness, hit him straight in the bullseye. I'm like, okay, I get it. He's an archer, target, but bullseye. And at first I thought, was it just like a slip of the tongue? But then he legit said it again.
Yeah.
Okay, Morrow. It's a bit much, but I mean, whatever. It was still a good show, and you can't. They're two very different things right now.
They are,
and I'm just wondering if that's going to continue. Which, if it is, it's fine because it almost feels to a certain extent like outside of WWE going, we're going 2 hours. We're now live. Mm-hmm. Like NXT was already on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
So I feel like AEW fired the first shot by going, we're going to be on Wednesday nights. You literally could have picked at the time.
They should have just taken Tuesday.
Well, they could have taken Tuesday knowing that SmackDown was moving to Friday because that had been announced forever ago.
Yeah.
You could have even gone Thursday.
Yeah.
Right? Like there were openings, but they legit were like, nope, we're going to go Wednesday. So I feel like that first shot was fired there, then WWE going.
But they're not in a war.
No, I know. And you know what was great about this week of AEW?
Yeah.
There was limited to no Cody.
Yeah.
Like they had a little bit of like a video thing about how he's preparing for this title match. And I'm like, that's fine, because other than that, it's always been like him running in and doing that. Like, okay. As he's fine as a performer. I don't drink the Cody Kool-Aid though.
Oh no, neither do I.
But
I'm very much not high on Cody.
I do drink the Darby Allin Kool-Aid.
And I drink.
Sounds dirty.
I drink the Orange Cassidy Kool-Aid.
Oh yeah, which I want to see a match between Darby Allin with his hands taped behind his back and Orange Cassidy with his hands in his pockets.
Yeah,
because they would do some crazy things.
Oh man,
we thought it was crazy watching Orange Cassidy do, like a tope or suicide dive with his hands in his pockets. The hardest part about that has got to be keeping your hands in your pockets.
Yeah.
Whereas like Darby, it's like, well, they're taped behind his back. He doesn't have to worry about pulling them out. They're just there.
Yeah,
well, all right, we're just gonna. And I mean, Darby's gonna do crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't watch AEW, go find that and watch the last like 5 to 7 minutes or so of this week's episode. Maybe give or take a few minutes, because it's absolutely insane what Darby Allin does with his hands taped behind his back. One thing I did think was kind of funny with that main event is it was a Philadelphia street fight.
Yes.
Why it needed to go there, I don't know. But it was funny in the sense that the commentators explained rope breaks are still a thing, right? So they said that it's a Philadelphia street fight, but if it's a submission, a rope break is still a thing. So I'm like, that's kind of weird. It kind of negates the whole, like, you think a street fight, it's like no DQ, but you can get disqualified for not breaking on a rope. Okay, whatever. They explained that, but clearly nobody explained it to the crowd. I'm assuming anyway.
Yeah.
Because, every time there was a rope break, the crowd starts chanting, it's a street fight. And at one point they were booing when there was a rope break. It was clearly a setup, though, in the sense that that's why Jericho taped Darby's hands behind his back, because he kept getting to the rope, and Jericho's like, ah. And so he tapes his hands, like, well, now you can't get to the ropes, and then Darby just starts doing crazy things. I did like, though, when Chris Jericho tried riding Darby's skateboard, because Darby rode down the ramp on his skateboard, which said Darby Allin AEW champ on the bottom of it.
Oh, nice.
Jericho tried to ride it, and he did one push and rode it for a couple seconds, and then the crowd starts chanting, "You can't ollie," which I thought was pretty great. But that main event is definitely worth seeking out if you've got the ability to do it. And then outside of that, the tag matches were fine on AEW. We had a women's title match, which it was fine. I was thinking while watching NXT, I was like, man, the NXT women's division, as much as it kind of feels like it's Shayna and everybody else.
There's a lot of everybody else,
but also high quality, right? Like, we haven't seen much of the AEW women's division, and it's interesting because we haven't seen Nyla since she lost that title match.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm wondering what I think about that, because she's clearly the beast of that women's division, unless Awesome Kong is an actual regular. But she's been on a couple of their shows, but hasn't been on TV yet. But what are you doing?
I'm looking up results for NXT UK because I can't remember anything that happened.
Yeah, it was a fine show. Imperium also fought on NXT UK. Yeah. I can't remember who they fought. Who did they fight?
The Hunt.
Oh, that's right, the Hunt. They fought the Hunt, which was a good match. What was this week's main event? Because last week was Piper and... Was last week Piper and...
Jazzy.
Yeah. Jazzy. This week, what do we have?
I'm looking.
Oh, it's the tag titles. Hello.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
How do we
that was a good match.
It was a good match, and we have new NXT UK tag team champions. It's not exact. I mean...
It's a lot of wrestling to remember.
Oh, yeah.
Off the top of your head.
Yeah, and here's the thing about the NXT UK. What I said when Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster won it, I was like, okay, they won't be tag champs for very long. And they weren't. I expected it to go back to Grizzled Young Veterans.
Yeah.
I thought it felt like they gave them the win because they were in Wales. And essentially that's what they did, because then the rematch was still in Wales.
Yeah.
So as soon as they were out of Wales, they lost the belts.
In Essex.
Essex? It's not a very good crowd.
No.
I don't know if it's...
They're mumble mouths.
Yeah, or if it's the venue is maybe a little more open, and it's their timings, they're not getting...
Yeah.
The UK audience is known for chants and good creative ones, and it just hasn't been happening. Even when Ilya fought, because he had a match this week.
Yeah.
And against Saxon Huxley.
Yeah. And then
sexy Saxon Huxley.
Sexy Saxon Huxley.
But they didn't do the don't they know it's Ilya time chant.
Yeah.
It's it was weird. It just felt so weird. But yeah, Ilya, is he being recruited? I think this is the start of who is next in line for Walter.
Yeah. And then we also had Xia Brookside.
Oh yeah, getting a win.
Picking up that dub.
Yeah, but going back to, because we've been talking a little bit about who is next for Walter. Ilya, I think, is the obvious thing, and it looks like, is it going to be this thing where they're trying to recruit him
so he can't fight Walter?
Yeah, whether it's that or if he kind of then creates this inside KGB secret spy sort of plan.
Kind of like what Randy did to Bray.
Yeah, exactly.
When he joined the family and then burnt the house
cheesy. Down. Without weird superpower eyes, laser eyes. Remember that happened at one point.
I did.
Oh my.
Also, the ring turning into maggots.
Oh yeah. Good use of the projectors, WWE.
Yeah, so smart.
Yeah, but yeah, I wonder. I feel like Ilya will be next in line for and potentially to beat Walter.
Yeah.
Which is intriguing, because I'm wondering what they're doing with Imperium with as much as they've been on NXT.
I feel like once Walter... See, the thing is, I distinctly remember reading a news story about Walter specifically not wanting to move to the States.
Right.
So, they're clearly flying them down there for the shows.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why he wasn't on NXT.
It's also possible, though, I would say, that those three guys live in the States.
That's true.
Bartel was in NXT before NXT UK. Obviously, Alexander Wolf was, and was
Eichner.
So was Eichner, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they are actually living in the States and then going back to the UK for
the
tapings.
tapings.
Whereas Walter, because I feel like we've actually seen those three every week, whereas Walter we haven't necessarily. Because we didn't see him this week. Obviously, he was in the main event last week. And then I think, was it the end of the episode last week when he laid out Kushida? Yeah. So
because that was the main event of the week. No, that was the midweek.
Was it the middle?
I think
that
was the mid main.
What was the main event last week? Not last week. Last week was Kushida, but that week, or was that? I can't remember.
Wasn't that?
I don't know.
Too much thinking. On the topic of who's next, Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
Just tossing rocks.
Yeah.
Tegan picked up the win, obviously.
Yeah, the women's title picture is getting
crowded.
Very crowded.
Dakota comes down. They start to do an interview. I'm half expecting Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo to come out.
I thought something
setting
similar
up a
too.
tag
Like,
match.
Okay, yeah.
Here comes Shayna doing her best Kaylee Ray impression, tossing rocks in her glass house.
But when
like
her music hit, I also kind of expected that. I was like, oh, is it just going to be Marina and Jessamine? No, it was. She was coming out being all like, you haven't. Once you do something impressive, sort of.
And then you're running out of limbs to rehab.
Yeah, well, that was. She had a couple of like one-liners that were clearly set up, but but they were pretty good. But yeah, it's interesting because, I mean, you had her actually confronting Tegan, but then in the other side of the picture, you have Rhea Ripley confronting because she's getting called out by
Bianca and
Io. Yeah, I'm like, okay, so my assumption was we're going to set up a triple threat number one contender sort of match, right?
Maybe
like,
a fatal four-way.
Could be a fatal four-way, or what we'll get is, I mean, maybe the way Shayna approached Tegan, it was kind of like I don't see it happening. Mm-hmm. It was just kind of like, I don't know if it was in a sense to kind of build Tegan a little bit to be like, she's can actually be in this picture, because like Shayna's clearly aware that she's there.
Yeah, she doesn't come out and talk to Rhea.
Right. Yeah, and then and then you have Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai, but Rhea and Bianca are next week.
Yes.
And then,
or is this setting up all women a women's war games?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe, but I don't think so. I don't know what, unless it's like they're all like it's not teams.
Shayna, Team Shayna. So Shayna and her girls.
What's
whatever
the other?
Then Rhea, Dakota, and Tegan. Team UK.
Sure.
And then Bianca, Io, and your mom. I don't know.
What? Yeah, no, I don't. Maybe I couldn't see it going that way.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I feel like we'll probably get something along the lines of like Tegan will get a non-title shot, like a non-title match against Shayna, and then we'll have somehow because in the match next week, Bianca and Rhea could maybe be like
that could have
contenders, or like Io could run in and then be like everyone's like at odds with each other in that match. It's like, okay, we'll have a triple threat match.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I feel the best spot for Tegan and Dakota is not the title picture right now. I feel they should be trying to build up some sort of a women's tag team division within NXT. Like you have Marina and Jessamine, that's their names. And then Dakota and Tegan, and then you have Deonna and Chelsea. So that's three teams right there. Like why are you not using them?
I mean,
I know why you're not using Jessamine and Marina.
And you also have Vanessa and Aaliyah.
Oh, Vanessa and Aaliyah. So that's four teams.
Yeah,
like I'm not saying you need a title belt.
Yeah, it's possible that they could do something like that. I also feel like the way they talk about Tegan every time she's out there. She was many people's favorite to win the Mae Young Classic until she blew out both
destroyed her knee.
Yeah, well, I mean,
one
was 1 year and one was the next year. But yeah, like the way they keep going, I'm like, I couldn't see that being what they're going to do with her. Like, I feel like that eventual picture, like she could literally be the one who takes it off of Shayna.
I guess,
as like that coming up underdog. Because it's funny because like the way Dakota was treated in her time.
That's what we thought was going to happen.
A little bit, but yeah, at the same point, it's like she doesn't feel credible at this point anymore. Especially now that you have, because I think didn't Dakota? She lost her match last week, didn't she?
No, she won.
Did she win? I feel like who did she fight? I feel like she lost a match recently, and it was like, oh, I guess we're doing more of this with Dakota, but I can't remember who she fought because she's been back for a little bit now. But regardless, I feel like she doesn't feel credible, whereas Tegan still kind of does, just the way they talk about her as far as a threat for the women's title. But you do have some legit people in there now. Like, there was a time where it really felt like Shayna and then,
some people,
everybody else. Whereas now I go, like, even Io, I mean, the problem with Io and Shayna is the heel thing. I can't see, Io being a tweener. She kind of made her bed at this point when she turned on Candice, that she's just a straight-up heel and has the most seizure-inducing entrance out of everybody. Although Damian Priest is up there, too, once he gets in the ring and he does his headbang thing. Like, the strobe lights get going. But, yeah, so, I mean...
Oh, Bianca beat Dakota, that's right.
Yeah, I was going to say,
right.
I feel like she just lost, which I was kind of a little bit surprised by that. But so, I mean, who knows? The women's division definitely feels like you've got some contenders there now. And, I mean, that, I think, all kind of changed when Rhea showed up. You no longer had just like, okay, now we got to build one person at a time. You all of a sudden have like, oh, some of these people actually look legit credible. There's just a lot of them are heels.
One, like, Rhea's had a non-title match with Shayna,
which
she technically lost.
Yeah,
I feel she had the moral victory there.
Yeah, she came out standing tall.
Yeah, she smacked her with a chair.
Yeah, but yeah, no, you just have a lot of heels right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't feel Rhea's a heel.
She's not,
but she's not a good guy.
No, she's like,
very Pete Dunne.
Yeah, she's just the one being booked as, I guess the heel or the face in those matches, right?
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, she hasn't changed anything. Mm-hmm. She's just now calling out heels.
Yeah.
But yeah, then like obviously Io, Bianca plays like right now. I feel like she's a heel, but she kind of plays that. Yeah. She has the ability to play that,
depending on
lines a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially if she aligns herself with the Street Profits more.
Yeah.
That immediately, I think, turns her, like, if she started coming out with them or whatever on occasion.
It'd be a lot more...
Not as, like, a valet or anything, but, like, they showed her coming in
Well, they're married. They probably live together.
What?
Weird.
Showed her coming in a couple weeks ago with them and stuff. Like, yeah, you could turn her face, I think, pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. Especially, you could even have Montez come out
with her
time.
for her matches.
Yeah, and, like, just, like, introduce her. Like, almost be like the mouthpiece going down to the ring or at the top of the ramp. Doesn't have to stay out there because she's badass.
And she doesn't even need a mouthpiece because she's a decent talker.
Oh, for sure. One thing I've appreciated, speaking of like the badasses and the people coming out to the ring, is the fact that we had a couple of heel teams legit win without their added muscle getting involved. Like the NXT UK title match, Joe Coffey came out, stood at the entrance, didn't get involved. And then
there was one point where he got a little closer to the ring.
Yeah, he started, but then he held back.
Stopped, and like it looked like, oh, here it comes.
Yeah,
but no.
And then on top of that, with the 2 Imperium wins,
Wolf was out there.
No, Wolf wasn't out there for
that's
the
right
NXT UK because he took Ilya back.
Yeah,
but yeah, he was out there for NXT, and he just
sat there.
I think he was out there.
Yeah,
because he was out at the end.
Yeah,
I don't even remember seeing him during the match.
He was hugging Eichner after the win, like
he was helping him out. He was out there definitely at the end of the match, but I can't even recall seeing him during the
Dresden
match.
Hatchet Man.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's kind of I appreciate that a little bit because it gets a little tiring, and like that's right now like Chris Jericho's getting his wins because the Inner Circle are getting involved, right? Like that's how the match ended on AEW this week was Jake Hager coming out and putting a stop to Darby Allin,
mangling poor Darby.
Yeah. And which is, I mean, he didn't mangle him; he hit him, and he fell off the rope, and then Jericho finished it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I feel like that's been like the common thing for heel champions in WWE for a long time. Is like, they got to win by nefarious means all the time, right? And whereas like Walter is a legit dominant heel, who's Adam Cole is relying on it a little bit, gets a little tiring.
Yeah, but he's like...
Actually, has he been relying on it so much? I'm trying to think if the other belts have relied on it more.
It's the other belts more. Cole usually, like, I guess because of the cast thing, kind of.
Yeah,
but like,
that's right. That's
he won clean. No one came out to help him against Riddle.
Did nobody come out?
No, he won clean against Johnny in the 3 Stages of Hell match.
Did they not? No, they were out there.
Were they?
Yeah, for sure. They came out because the second
match
was no DQ,
yeah, that's
right?
Like, so they came out.
Although it was great because Gargano hits him with the chair. Whoa! Well, I lost the first one, but here we go for the second one, which is
Whoopsies.
no DQ.
That should have just been like chair,
Yeah,
chair.
which I-
1, 2, 3. Come down.
Yeah.
Down comes the
I mean,
cage.
down comes the stupid finish. No, I wouldn't have wanted the stupid finish to come quicker because the first two matches were the best part of
That's
that match.
true.
But yeah, like Adam Cole gets it a little bit, I think, like Undisputed Era in general.
But they do it a lot more with guys who are.
Yeah, NXT
Bigger,
UK is
'cause-
doing it right, I feel.
Yes.
Like with we'll see, I guess, with Gallus how they hang on to those titles if there's constant, run-ins. The way they even did it, I think there was a ref bump during that match.
There was, but nothing happened. Like
Nothing
it
happened.
literally looked like he accidentally got kicked,
which is possible. Oh yeah, because Andrews jumped over him to break up
Yeah.
a pin and then caught him.
and the
on
ref's
way
like,
over.
"Ow, my head!"
Yeah.
But then it's just like right back into it.
Yeah.
So-
So yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to see how they continue with that. Shayna, does she get the run-ins? She doesn't need it.
She
if she
does occasionally when it literally looks like. I think it happened with Kyrie. Was
it
the last
happened-
time?
No, it definitely happened. The run-in happened with was
Or-
it Io fighting?
Yeah,
and
the
then
cage
Candice
match.
came out though and wiped him out with
Yeah.
with the kendo stick,
yeah.
right? But that was when they were still friends.
They're not friends.
That's different now. But yeah, I think she won. I'm trying to think if she won clean against Bianca or not. I can't remember. But it was nice to see in the last couple of weeks here, just like those heels, just stand back. They're like, you know what?
Yeah.
No, if we're supposed to be big and mean and bruising, let's do this.
Yeah.
We don't need to, have that be the way we win our things. But so yeah.
If you want your champion to look credible and he's a bad guy, have him actually win without cheating.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it's
the
not always the case
cheating
where the
works, right?
champion needs to look credible.
No,
when they're
obviously
a heel,
not.
Right? Yeah.
Like
That's the
there's
whole point,
there's
but-
still a case for the cowardly
yeah.
heel.
It does get tiring after a while. Like,
Archetype.
that was my biggest complaint going back a ways now. But
Yeah.
when Jinder was champ, I was like, it was always the Sings
Yeah.
getting involved. It was like, ugh, here we go
But
again.
then we got that wicked X-Plex that almost killed the one guy.
By Randy Orton.
And he was like,
oh, whoops. Yeah, that's fair. That's what they were good for.
Yeah.
But
now they're in 205 Live, which is still a thing, I think.
but the championship is on NXT. It's literally called the NXT
Yeah.
Cruiserweight Championship.
I'm not too sure what's happening.
I want
there.
okay, if they were to change that belt,
Just make it the
the strap,
strap, the leather, black.
I'd
That's
make
all it needs.
I'd make it yellow.
Yellow and silver? Oh.
I don't know. It's purple right now.
Well, it's purple, yeah. No,
Or-
black. You could change the plates to gold.
Yeah, you need some kind of yellow gold on there.
Put
I feel.
NXT on it instead of the 205.
Yeah,
on
I
the
think
bottom of
they
it.
got to be.
It's a nice looking belt. Aside from the purple, it's not a
I don't know
horrible.
if I've ever
It's
liked
not on the level of the UK Championship.
Well,
obviously.
of course not. But most titles in wrestling aren't on the level of that.
Yes.
But as far as a WWE title is concerned, I think I like the main belts more than it. I'm trying to think if there's any that I like less than it. To be honest, and that's not just the purple. I'm like the plates. I'm kind of like, they're okay. They look thin and cheap.
Yeah. You know, a belt that I don't like, I like less than
the
the
24/7.
Cruiserweight. Actually, I think I like this one less than that one.
Oh, go
The
on.
NWA National, or
the
National North
National
American
champion?
National Champion.
The red one with
Yeah.
literally the map of the United States. Oh yeah, speaking of NWA, we watched that this week.
Ridiculous looking. Aaron
is.
Stevens is back.
Yeah, I texted you. I'm like, I found Damian Sandow.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. He was pretty good. This is what I'll say about NWA. They've had 2 weeks now where they've had a show. I don't know that it's on anywhere except for YouTube. I think it's just
Free on YouTube. Go
Yeah,
watch
it's free
it.
on YouTube. I think it's on Fight TV. I saw somewhere
Ah.
too. But again, it's probably free, much like ROH
Yeah.
and all those
Go
programs.
watch it. It was
Yeah.
good.
If you want to go watch some guys do good promo work, the matches are fine. The matches are a little different than what most indie stuff is.
because it's a live studio audience. It's not an arena. It's a studio show.
Yeah,
It has weirdly it has a different feel
it does have a different
than
feel.
an arena show.
It reminds me a lot of. In fact, this week after NWA was done, and I was looking to see if AEW was up on demand yet, which it wasn't. So I was like, I want to watch something. And I was feeling like, I kind of want to watch a studio show. So I went and
Right.
Championship Wrestling from Hollywood is very studio as well.
Yeah.
I think I don't like when NWA was like bringing studio wrestling back. I'm like, yeah, but Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, from what I can gather, has been doing that for a while.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know what the difference is. If it's like, because in NWA, you will legit see like their different sets that they have. Like, oh, this is where they do all their interviews, right? And stuff like that.
But like if they do a pan out, you can see they walk over there.
Yeah.
They walk over there.
Whereas
those guys are over there.
Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, you don't get that at all, I don't think. Like, I don't think they do any interviews like that to the side. All their interviews would be in ring.
Because, I mean, Lucha Underground is technically a studio show.
Yeah, and like that's where I'm like, okay, what classifies as a studio show? Because by that definition, like you could say, like if it's always in the same place, same filming location. It was like, well, Full Sail is essentially that. But I'm like, well, Full Sail, they're surrounded.
Yeah, and
which
so is same
with
with Lucha. So I think it was filmed in a TV studio, so there's just the seats where people would be watching you film Home Improvement.
Right.
Or whatever other. That's the last one I've seen filmed in front of a live studio audience where you actually see the audience sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess you
Because
or like
what time is it?
Shows.
2 old time.
Yeah. Or like late night shows, right? Like, and so that's why I don't know. I can't speak to Championship Wrestling from Hollywood in that regard, because I feel like they're probably just not set up in a TV studio, but set up in a very similar way. They're always in the same venue, but it's probably not just a TV, like, you know, they does other things during, I think it's a pavilion, if I recall, is what I saw, but it still has a very similar feel, right?
Yeah. NWA is very old school feeling.
Yeah, oh yeah, the aesthetic is 100% throwing back to...
But they got Aaron Stevens, formerly Damian Sandow, Colt Cabana, James Storm, current NWA national champion, Nick Aldis, formerly Magnus from TNA, and Mr. Anderson
Cabana.
Yes. So it's got a good group of guys.
There is something I'm not looking forward to, because in that they also have like Eddie Kingston's there with Homicide, which they bring an edge to them. Like, okay.
They got Wild Card, which is some guy, and then formerly Kenneth Cameron from NXT.
Yeah, but the thing I'm not looking forward to is, spoiler alert, Wild Card are the tag team champs as of right now on NWA Power.
Not for long.
Not for long, and who they lose it to just makes me...
sad. So sad.
Because why?
So super sad.
Yeah, they lose it to Rock and Roll Express.
The original.
The original.
Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah. Which I'm going to...
They don't look great, guys.
Does that mean... Yeah. No, it's... Yeah.
Oh, and who is the guy who came out with to talk to James Storm?
Oh, Eli Drake.
Eli Drake.
Yeah, what is he from?
He was a TNA guy for a while.
I definitely know his name. I'm like, I'm
pretty sure he was
but I can't
TNA.
think where I've seen him from. But I'm probably just around, too, watching different wrestling shows. But yeah, Eli Drake came out. It's the promo work is what stood out most for me on that show. And I think it'll probably continue to be strong that way. The wrestling's been good, too. It's a different pace, for sure, and a different style, but it is what it is.
He was in WWE for a bit.
As Eli Drake?
I don't know, but he teamed up with Gene Moxley to take on the Big Show in 2006.
All right. No, that's not going to be...
He also teamed with Gene Snitsky in ECW in a losing effort to Crime Time.
All right.
He also appeared in 2011 during a segment between CM Punk and Kevin Nash in the role of a security guard.
All right. None of those count.
And then he was released from his contract in 2014 due to not getting along with then head coach Bill DeMott.
Well, that's a recurring theme.
Bum-ba-da-dum.
Anyway, yeah, no, it's been good so far, and it's kind of fun to watch, and like it fills a very different void.
It does,
you know,
and it's short and sweet.
Yeah, it's an hour. The only complaint I really have about it is it does feel like a parody the way they've made it look,
even with the theme song.
Yeah, the theme song gets stuck in your head right away, though. I probably sang that wrong, but it doesn't matter.
I think
it's Dawkin. But yeah, like by going with like kind of the original style on the ring skirt NWA, I'm like, it's kind of like this thing where it's like, oh, that's kind of neat, but at the same point, yeah, it feels like a parody.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not gonna. I don't know if I like that necessarily, but it's probably attracting people who are like, oh, I remember watching when it looked like that.
Yeah.
I know there are a lot of people excited about the whole studio thing,
I was just excited because 2 of my favorite wrestlers are on there.
which is so funny.
I love Mr. Anderson,
I would have never guessed.
and I love Damien Sandow.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've heard you talk about Damien Sandow a little bit, and we've obviously seen him a couple times going through old NXT episodes. But, yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what they do. His
Anderson.
Cabana. Colt Cabana was great there.
He was great.
The story there is like Colt was in a tag match.
With a mystery opponent.
I got a mystery partner, and his name is, and then Mr. Anderson jumps in, Mr. And then at the end, at the end of the little promo thing, he does the Mr. Anderson thing, and then Colt Cabana.
Well, before that, they have to face a team of Mr.
That's right.
Colt
Cabana. And then when he does the Mr. Anderson thing, Colt Cabana laughing. Cabana! It's just like, ha ha ha.
And I in this match actually made me appreciate Colt a little more.
Yeah, the only thing,
because
a complaint I had about that match was Jim Cornette talking way too much.
Jim Cornette talks way too much in general. Though.
But Cabana's great because he's got an in-ring dialogue that he's got going on, and friggin' Jim Cornette's just talking over him. Stop.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jim Cornette doesn't let his play-by-play guy do his job really either.
No.
He's too excited.
He's rough. It's rough. That's, I think, the biggest takeaway from NWA is
Jim Cornette.
Jim Cornette. Not that Jim Cornette's a bad announcer,
no,
but he's very omnipresent in the show.
It's interesting because when I was watching MLW for a little while, Jim Cornette, for most of those episodes, was the color commentator. And I actually remember, and I think I tweeted it, being like, I was skeptical about Cornette, like watching MLW going, oh, Cornette's the color commentator. But as I watched, I'm like, he's having fun. He adds this old school tie that is kind of neat. But I found that Rick Bocchini, I can never remember his name.
I think it's Rick Bocchini.
But you also thought it was John Sist.
Yes.
So
I'm sorry, Mr. Christ.
Sorry, Mr. Jake Christ. You even corrected me when I said it was Jake and Dave. You're like, no, it's John. I was like, I guess maybe I could take your word for it. You looked it up.
Don't take my word for it.
But maybe Bocchini is has more presence than the guy who's doing NWA. I didn't catch his name yet. And so he kind of could take that back a little bit. Maybe Cornette's been told to go more because he is that old school guy. They're trying to do this old school thing. But
they should get Jesse the Body on the show.
I don't think that's an option. I feel like he's got zero interest.
Probably.
Maybe. I don't know.
Pretty sure he's still alive.
But the interesting thing is, obviously they're not competing with WWE, but there are actually some straight up tweets from the likes of, who do we have? We had The Rock, who tweeted about it. Walter tweeted about it. There was someone else too, I feel like, that was tweeting about it. But anyway, NWA, it's worth a shot. Yeah, it's just under an hour long. Give it a watch. I've enjoyed it so far.
I watched episode 2. I'm not going to watch episode 1 because I already know everything that happened.
Yeah, they
recap it
all right.
quite well.
Yep.
I will say Santana and Ortiz look like monsters in AEW.
Oh, I was like, they weren't
there.
You just confusing other friends?
I'm just confused. Yeah, no. I watched, I guess, the first half of AEW with you.
Oh yeah, Santana and Ortiz. Who did they fight?
They fought some nobodies.
That's right.
Simon Miller with a beard, and some guy who wished he was Saxon Huxley.
Sure. But yeah, anyway, there's a lot of wrestling to watch. But NWA, the nice thing is it's
short. It's on YouTube.
Not a whole lot of commitment to it.
Easily.
It passes by pretty quick.
It's super approachable too, and it's just a fun time.
Yeah.
So far.
So far, so good. Anyways, that'll do it for this episode. If you want, no, not if you want. We told you at the beginning.
You should.
Go find us everywhere you find podcasts, including Apple, Spotify, Google, and places, and YouTube. Subscribe, that stuff. Tell your friends, please. That would be cool. Follow us on our social medias at Disc Progress on Instagram as well as Twitter. Instagram being The Adam Show. That's that guy.
Yes.
And Twitter being my show.
That's
David. That's me. But yeah, that'll do it. So, goodbye.
Cabana.